All right, council members, it is 5 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. Welcome, everyone. This is Wednesday, September 6, 2023. It is 5 p.m., so I'm going to go ahead and call our closed session to order. And I will ask our clerk if there has been any request to speak on any of our closed session items or any correspondence received.
No correspondence and no requests to speak.
All right, thank you very much. So, council members, we will go ahead and recess to closed session, and we'll return at 6 p.m. for our regular meeting. All right, council members, if we can work our way to the dais and take our seats, we're going to get started in just 1 minute. All right, we are all set. It is 6:01, and so I'm going to go ahead and call our regular meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, September 6, 2023. And Mr. City Attorney, we just had a closed session. Do we have anything to report out, sir?
We do not, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, for tonight's agenda, have you received any correspondence?
In your red folders, there is email correspondence for item 10.8 and a couple of email correspondence on non-agenda public comments.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Council members, staff has requested to modify tonight's agenda, so we're going to move item 6. That's our agenda approval or modifications to the beginning of the meeting. So let's go ahead and take item 6 now. Are there any modifications to the agenda, Madam Clerk?
Yes, please. Staff would like to add item 5.6 as a presentation item to recognize this month's outstanding citizen.
All right, very good. So council members, all in favor of approving the agenda as it's modified, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, hearing none, that's unanimous. And Madam Clerk, if you would call roll, please.
Councilmember Dynas?
Here.
Councilmember Estrada?
Here.
Councilmember Sobek?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Carwin?
Here.
And Mayor Zimmerman?
And I'm here. Thank you very
All
much.
present, Your Honor.
All right, very good. I know our pastor, Rocky Stone from Sandals Church, is here to give some words of inspiration. So we appreciate you coming. If you come to the podium, and we are very pleased that you are joining us. You're also one of our chaplains for our police department. We appreciate your service
I am,
there.
yeah. And I'm not officially representing the Menifee Police Department right now. Here, going to go spend some time with our explorers after this. But thank you. Thank you for asking me to be here. I love this city. Love that I get to work here and live here and volunteer here. I love everything about Menifee other than the weather. So if we could get that on the agenda, maybe some outdoor air conditioning, some misters, that would be absolutely amazing. But, you know, I've come here many times over the last 5 years. Love getting to speak to the city council. Love getting to be a part of this community. And just so thankful for what this entire city has built and is continuing to build. And this is a great place to live and a great place to work. So would you all join me in prayer? Father God, thank you that you have blessed us with a great city. Lord, not that we don't have any problems, not that we have everything figured out, but we have a great community of people who rally around each other, who support each other, and who work together for the common good. God, we pray over our city leaders, over our elected leaders and our city staff as they continue to guide our community and what's next and what's coming. Lord, would you bless them with wisdom? Would you bless them with foresight? God, and would you bless them with just patience as they deal with all of us? God, would you allow tonight's proceedings, God, just to be soaked in wisdom and good thought. Lord, we love you. We thank you for this time. We say all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Stone, thank you so much for being here tonight. All right, it is always an honor as Americans to salute our country's flag, and so we're going to do that together. And I have asked the director for EMWD, Mr. Jeff Armstrong, if he would lead us. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Please face the flag and place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you, Director Armstrong. We are on presentations. We're going to stay seated for the first presentation. This is item 5.1, and it's our Quality of Life Measure DD Committee appointment. And that person is Michael Ram Logan, who is here tonight. And I'm going to ask Councilman Estrada if he would just share a few words about his appointment to the Measure DD Quality of Life Committee.
Sure. Well, a little bit about Mr. Ram Logan. He's been very involved with the city. I see him all the time at city functions, and I thought he'd be a great participant to join on the team. He's a U.S. Marine veteran. He served his country for several years. He's also received the President's Lifetime Achievement Award, and most recently, in May, he received the Safe Citizen of the Month Award. And so I think he'd be a great addition to the team, and I trust in him to carry us forward. Thank you, Mr. Ram Logan, for your service.
All right, very good. So at this point, we'll turn it over to our clerk, and she's going to administer the oath of office. All right, welcome aboard, Mr. Ram Logan, and we appreciate your willingness to serve. All right, council members, we are going to come up to the front. I do see Ronnie in the back. We're going to have him come and join us, and his family members, anybody that would like to. And Gina Gonzalez is also going to come up because this is our business spotlight, and we're going to be spotlighting Rendezvous Cigar Lounge in Menifee.
Finally get to see them. So cute. Got it. I'm going to jump out of the way anyways. Well, good evening. My name is Gina Gonzalez. I'm your Economic Development Director for this big, beautiful city of Menifee. Super excited today to present our September Business Spotlight. The mayor stole the thunder, but it's Rendezvous Cigar Lounge. We're all very excited about this. But how many people here are familiar with our Business Spotlight program? Yay. Yeah. Our Business Spotlight program is a free business recognition program where we honor and thank and champion the businesses that go above and beyond the call of business each and every day in Menifee that make us shine by supporting our community. So with that, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Rendezvous Cigar Lounge. But they're our first cigar lounge, owned and operated by local residents Ronnie and Courtney Simpson, that was established back in August 2022 and is a full family operation. Rendezvous offers a variety of cigars to choose from the novice to the experienced cigar connoisseur. And some people think they are, but they aren't, and Ronnie will tell them. Ronnie and Courtney Simpson have planted their roots in Menifee since 2014 and have long admired the sense of community that they've experienced living here in the city and wanted to provide a unique experience within the city. Ronnie's dream was to always have a cigar lounge one day and to promote a space for others to build community, to relax, and to decompress. Whether you're looking for a place to unwind, meet new people, catch a game on Sunday during the afternoon, there's a lounge chair calling your name. Inside Rendezvous Cigar Lounge, you'll find comfortable leather lounge chairs, couches, tabletops for a round of poker or a game of chess, large flat screen TVs with the NFL ticket, and a walk-in humidor and cigar amenities. They also offer amazing membership benefits, which are exclusive to their members-only events, private rentals, humidor lockers, special cigar merchandising and pricing. The Circle of the Rendezvous community is a diverse crowd from all walks of life who have come to call each other family. But the Rendezvous family goes well beyond the walls of their establishment. The bond that Rendezvous has built within its cigar community ranges from supporting local events, fundraisers of their members, to hosting events with cigar rollers, cigar developers, live music, wineries, a lot of our restaurants. He just goes on and on and on and trying to create a network to build Menifee to what it is. We're so proud to honor one of Menifee's unique retailers and a business that has provided an entertainment experience within the city of Menifee. So with that, before we jump into all the words and start crying over Ron and Courtney, we'll roll the video.
Rendezvous was created to provide a space where I can enjoy a cigar while socializing right here in Menifee. Rendezvous offers quality service, quality product, and a quality environment. Whether you're here to socialize or network or just simply relax, our doors are open to everyone. Rendezvous, where great vibes meet even greater people.
I love it. Yes. So Ronnie and Courtney and your family, you guys will be able to use that video that our team produced for you on social media and help get the word out. But if you haven't been there, if you're someone who enjoys cigars, it is a very relaxed atmosphere. It's a very comfortable place. And I remember the first time I went there, you made me feel so welcome and kind of showed me the ropes because I'm not a connoisseur of cigars. But I just want to say thank you for choosing Menifee, and I'm really pleased that we have selected your business as our business spotlight to be honored and recognized. And we have a nice frame certificate here for you to hang on the wall. But I know some of my council colleagues would like to say a few words too, and then we'll offer you a chance to say a few words. So I'm going to pass it to Mayor Pro Tem right now.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I was there at your ribbon cutting, and I've been there to get my butt whooped in chess, which has happened more than once. And it's a great environment, and people are always looking for uniqueness in the city of Menifee, and you guys have that all wrapped up. So thanks so much for choosing Menifee. I'm glad to see you thriving, and we're thrilled that you're getting spotlighted here. We're going to pass it right down the line to Council Member So back here.
Thank you. What a wonderful commercial that was made for you. I hope that you can use it and will bring you prosperity. And I just want to welcome your business to the city of Menifee.
I just want to say that our small businesses are what I think the backbone of our city. And as the Mayor Pro Tem said, you know, it's the uniqueness that you've brought to the Menifee that sets us apart. I thank you so much for your investment and your involvement in our community. Thank you.
Hey guys, congratulations. And you guys look sharp. Yeah, I'm gonna need some advice. I'm gonna have to come by and we're gonna have to talk more than just cigars. But congratulations on being here. This is what we want in Menifee, a unique identity, a unique place to go, and you stand out. So thank you so much for choosing Menifee, and we wish you much prosperity and success.
So I'm going to go ahead and give this to you. And if you'd like to say a few words, maybe Courtney wants to start.
Well, first of all, we want to say thank you so much for this award. And I mean, this is just wonderful. We are elated, just so you all know. We are super excited about it. The kids were excited to attend and just to participate. So this is a big deal for our family. So we thank you very much for that. And when it comes to the lounge, we literally couldn't find another place than Menifee that we knew this is where we wanted to be. So we thank the city of Menifee for everything you've all done to help this dream come true. And we hope to see some of you or all of you in the lounge. Let us know if you need help with anything. But we're just super excited, and we think this opportunity is wonderful to be here in Menifee, and we look forward to spending many, many years here and to help the city grow as much as we can. Thank you so much. I'm the talker.
Yeah, she's a talker. So yes, I just want to say thank you. I do want to personally thank Gina. She's been amazing through this whole process. She's a trooper. She's my girl. Love you. Also, Jeff. Jeff is. I want to thank Jeff too. But just thank you, Mayor. Thank you guys for allowing us to bring this business to your city. It's amazing. I was told by somebody that Menifee wasn't the place to have a cigar lounge in. Boy, they were wrong. Like, this is the best place to have a cigar lounge. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to take a quick photo together, so maybe we can tighten up a little bit. Get everybody in. Thank you. Congratulations. All right, you guys. It was nice to meet you. Okay, next up, we have our Constitution Week proclamation. We'll do Laura last, yeah. And do we have any? We do have our Daughters of the American Revolution who have come to join us this evening. We'll have you guys come to the middle. And I don't know if you know it, but it was 236 years ago. She's got a little speech there, but I got it up in my head. That the Constitution was signed. And so every year, we like to do this proclamation, and the Daughters of the American Revolution, you guys are our Luisenio chapter, and thank you for being a part of that. And I know you do this at other cities too, but Menifee, we are patriotic here, and the Constitution is our framework for the way we conduct ourselves, and so it is something to be celebrated. And so I want to have you guys share a few words as well, and then we'll present you the proclamation.
First of all, I'm going to give you a brand new poster for this year. I thought it was nice and colorful, so it'll attract attention so people will know Constitution Week. And I also want to thank Mayor and the members of the council for this proclamation. September 17th, 1787 was the day that our Constitution was signed. And that means that 236 years ago, the foundation of our government was conceived and put into written form. We recognize Constitution Week to acknowledge the success of a nation of free people whose rights and privileges are protected by this significant document. And thank you for recognizing.
So I'm going to have Councilmember Sobek present the proclamation to you, since she's right next to you there.
Who gets this?
She does. Yeah, give it to Lisa.
Okay. And it's fine print.
Well, the City of Menifee proclaims Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd. So we're glad you can be here tonight. And just at the bottom, there is, it says, now therefore, I, Mayor Bill Zimmerman, on behalf of the Menifee City Council, do hereby proclaim in the City of Menifee the week of September 17th through 23rd, Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the frames of the Constitution had in 1787 by remembering that lost rights may never be regained. And so we'd like to present this to you, and I do reaffirm and ask everyone that take a few minutes during that week and read over the Constitution of the United States and remember about what we have.
Yes, absolutely.
For one more presentation, and then we will come back up again for our final one. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. What we'll do is have Mr. Joe Mawad from the Eastern Municipal Water District, if you don't mind. And I know Jeff Armstrong's here too, so I'll let you guys go ahead and get started.
Okay. Does this work? Yeah, okay. All right. Well, good evening. My name is Jeff Armstrong, and I represent the City of Menifee on Eastern Municipal Water District's Board of Directors. I'm also a very proud resident of Menifee. So I want to say thank you for having us here tonight. We have for you at your seats a gift. We have our mascots, Savvy the Water Drop and Patrick the Pooh. And mostly we use these for our kindergarten through 12th grade education programs, but we know that they're favorites of adults as well. And if you get a chance, Google Patrick Eastern, check out some of his videos on YouTube. They're really educational and they're really fun. But they really do remind us of the importance of the services that we do provide. And at Eastern, we really believe that understanding water, wastewater, recycled water services and the issues go beyond the classroom, critical for our residents and all of our customers. And so again, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. We're here to provide an update on some of the valuable information that Eastern's doing on the work to provide reliable and resilient water services to the city of Menifee. And to that point, we really are at the center here in Menifee and in Riverside of the water issues in Southern California. And we kind of have a unique area where we're growing still quite a bit. And at Eastern, we have in our projections that we'll be doubling our water supply needs at build-out. Half of our water comes from outside of our region, the other half comes inside our region. So we're still dependent in the future for more water supply from outside of our region. We have homes, we have businesses, we have schools, we have parks, we have agriculture, and all of that's very important. And so working very hard to look ahead and ensure that we have those supplies into the future, not only for today's residents, but for our future residents as well. And we're going to be discussing some of our innovative and creative collaborative approaches to water management, how it benefits our residents, and also talk about some of the issues in California water, and also the actions that we're taking to address those problems, and not only in our own service area, but this year you're going to hear about some efforts that are really outside of our service area that we're looking at, because we really need to begin exploring additional opportunities for securing water. So again, I just want to say thank you, and with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Joe Mawad, who is our general manager.
Thank you, Director Armstrong.
Thank you, Dr. Armstrong, and good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with you tonight to provide you our annual update on not only water supply conditions, but as Director Armstrong mentioned, our initiatives that are current and future. So with that, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we're all about. As many of you are aware, we were established in 1950. We serve a population in western Riverside County of approximately 1 million residents and growing rapidly. We cover an area of 500 square miles. Essentially, on the northern end of our service area is the city of Moreno Valley, down to Temecula, Murrieta, on the east, Hemet, San Jacinto, and of course, the I-215 corridor, including the city of Menifee and the city of Paris. We're unique in that we're not only a retailer, in fact, we're the 6th largest water retailer in the state of California, but we're also a wholesaler, and we provide water to other retailers within our service area. We're also unique in that we provide not only water, as Director Armstrong mentioned, we provide wastewater services as well as recycled water. We are one of 26 members of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. In fact, we're very proud of our rich history that we've shared with Metropolitan starting in 1951, and we're fortunate to have Dr. Armstrong represent this region on the Metropolitan Board. So as many of you are aware, we are governed by 5 elected board members. President Phil Pauley oversees the board as president, with Vice President Steve Corona representing the Murrieta Temecula service area. Of course, Director Armstrong, Director Randy Record, and Director Slauson. As an organization, we have more than 600 employees, and we oversee a budget of $557 million annually. That does not include our capital infrastructure investments that we have, and over the next 5 years, we anticipate that we will invest over $686 million to not only upgrade existing infrastructure, but to continue to expand our water, wastewater, and recycled water facilities. We've always been very keen on securing external funding, and we are one of the most successful agencies, frankly, in the entire country. And as part of that 5-year projection on capital investments, we anticipate that we will be securing $115 million in external funding. And I will share some more details on specifically projects in the city of Menifee that we have received in the past funding and we will continue to receive funding. And currently we have more than 200 active projects in various phases of planning, design, and construction. And I have to say, the city of Menifee is one of our highest growth areas, frankly. And what you'll see is a large concentrations of our projects are within the city boundary to be able to continue to accommodate the economic growth that we're seeing. So I just wanted to highlight, we're very fortunate to have Dr. Armstrong as a resident of the city of Menifee to represent this region, not only on a local level, but frankly on a regional level. Not only is he on the Eastern Board, and he also participates on various committees at EMWD, including the Diamond Valley MOI Implementation Committee, the Retirement Trust Financial Committee, but also as a Metropolitan Water District Director, he chairs the subcommittee on demand management and conservation, issues that affect not only us here, but frankly, the entire Southern California region. He is also vice chair at Metropolitan, the subcommittee on audits, and he is also a member of a number of committees and subcommittees at Metropolitan. In addition, Director Armstrong is a member of the Santa Ana Regional Water Quality Control Board's Quail Valley Septic to Sewer Advocacy Task Force that has been critical in assisting us to secure external funding to be able to advance that project. In addition, he's on the CalDSA Executive Committee and the Southwest Riverside County Water Alliance that I'm going to describe here shortly. So as mentioned earlier, we currently rely on about 50% of our water is imported, specifically imported from the Colorado River as well as the Bay Delta up north. The balance of our current portfolio is locally produced, and that includes more than a third of our portfolio is provided via our recycled water. We're one of the few agencies in the nation that uses 100% of the recycled water we produce. In the absence of using that water for ag, for industry, for landscaping, for golf courses, for parks, we would have to import additional potable water from outside of our area. In addition, we're very proud that our groundwater desalination program currently produces enough water to meet the needs of over 30,000 residents, primarily in the city of Menifee and Quail Valley. That's a program that we started on more than 2 decades ago, and we continue to expand our production capacity from our desalination program. So over the last 20 years, we've seen tremendous growth throughout our service area. In fact, over the last 20 years, we've doubled our population. If you look at the 2020 census data, you'll see that the population in Riverside County grew at the fastest of any other county in the state. Riverside County grew at a population of 10.7% in a decade. Our service territory grew at 15%. So recognizing those challenges also provides us an opportunity to leverage our investments, an opportunity to use all the recycled water we're producing. So what we've done, as shown here on this slide, is not only have we been able to accommodate the doubling of population, but in the meantime, our customers, the residents of the city of Menifee and the rest of our customers have become more efficient in terms of how they use the water. In fact, the usage or the per capita utilization of water has reduced by 44%. That's inclusive of taking advantage of programs we provide, putting in drip irrigation systems, removing non-functional turf, using recycled water to the extent possible. All those things combined has allowed us to become more efficient, in addition to working with the development community to become more efficient indoors, inside of a house. Our desalination program was started over 20 years ago in the city of Menifee, and currently it produces 14 million gallons per day of potable water from an otherwise brackish or salty aquifer. And the use of recycled water has increased dramatically over the last 20 years, and our net reliance on imported supplies has actually decreased. In addition, we have removed over 10 million square feet of non-functional turf. Now, Non-functional turf is essentially grass that you see that's strictly for aesthetic purposes, not used for any other purpose. And we provide financial incentives. In fact, currently we're providing $4 a square foot to remove non-functional turf. We're very supportive of functional turf. In fact, we're very much aware of the need to continue to make sure we're providing all the water that is necessary for parks and for other recreational activities and for HOAs. But if it's strictly a strip of grass in front of a shopping center that's not really used for any reason, then we will provide that incentive to remove that and put in more drought-tolerant landscaping. So I mentioned our desalinization program. What we see here is a clip of our dedication of our Paris 2 desalter last June, and that was quite an achievement. We brought on an additional 5.5 million gallons per day of water production. The project was brought on with the support of many partners, including a grant from the State Water Resource Control Board of $22.5 million, as well as funding from Metropolitan, as well as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. But that just one of many examples of how we have built relationships and partnerships, not only across the region, but across the state, and frankly back in Washington, D.C., to be able to bring back our tax dollars to reinvest in this community in important infrastructure projects. It's for that reason we're able to undertake these projects while still shielding and protecting our ratepayers from the cost of these investments. So overall, we've brought in $688 million of external funding over the last 20 years, and we've invested those grant funds in the Quail Valley septic to sewer, where we completed the first phase, and we're currently working on the next phase in Sub-Area 4. And of course, our desalter program, with the commissioning of the third desalter, we're about to embark on future expansion of that program, including additional wells, additional pipelines, and additional treatment capacity. And we've invested in solar energy. As the cost of energy continues to increase, we want to make sure that we shield our ratepayers from that increasing cost. So we've built over 15 megawatts of solar energy that we're able to generate that energy on site. So let's talk about building regional resiliency. Our overarching program is our groundwater reliability program. There's various components that are part of that program, including groundwater banking, recycled water, desalinization, water use efficiency that I described earlier, a healthy sewer campaign, educating our customers that what you put down the drain, ultimately we need to treat and we need to produce recycled water. So be conscious of what you put down the drain. Water banking, when we have plentiful water, as we do this year, it's been an exceptionally wet year. You heard about the record-setting snowpack. We need to be able to capture and bring that water and store it. Store it underground, store it in reservoirs above ground, everywhere we can, because we know there will be years in the future where we're going to have droughts. So we got to make those investments today to shield our region from future droughts. And our purified water replenishment, which I'm going to talk about here soon, which is basically a proposed project that we're advancing to purify recycled water and use that water to replenish our groundwater basin. So talking about our groundwater basin, this exhibit shows essentially the boundary of that groundwater basin on the east side. It's called an adjudicated basin. Essentially, there's a water master that oversees the management, and we're part of that water master. There's specific pumping rights and best practices that are implemented. On the west side, we're the Groundwater Sustainability Agency, including overseeing the brackish groundwater aquifer within the Menifee area and North Paris area. So as I mentioned, our desalinization program started back in 2002. What you'll see here in the exhibit is a series of brackish wells that we've constructed over the last 20 years. Today we have 15 brackish groundwater wells. We pump that water. We have a network of pipelines to bring that water to a centralized treatment facility off of Newport Road. We have 3 treatment facilities that treat that water and distribute that drinking water to the community. Now, what you'll see also is in red is the additional pipelines that we need to construct. As we continue to drill more wells and expand the program, we need the conveyance capacity. We need to be able to continue to bring additional water. So we're working on that effort currently with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They've been partnering with us in terms of providing funding and helping us advance this program. But we're also looking at brine management. The facility does generate essentially a waste product, and that waste product is carried via a brine line that is a regional facility all the way down to the Pacific Ocean in Orange County. So we're looking at further reducing that amount of brine, further reducing that amount of reject. We want to make sure we squeeze every drop of water out of that product before we send it down to the ocean. I mentioned the water banking initiative, and what you'll see here in the picture is 40 acres in San Jacinto that we recently developed, and we have constructed essential replenishment basins. So when the water is available from the State Water Project, when we do have a wet year or on the Colorado River, we're able to bring the water and essentially replenish the groundwater basin. We do that by spreading the water in the 40 acres that we developed over in San Jacinto. In fact, the upper picture shows that water being replenished. That facility was completed in the fall 2021, and we're looking at continuing to expand that program. So just a quick overview on recycled water. As you know, we collect the water used within the interior of a house, from your washing machine, from your sink. All of that goes into our sewer collection system. But from there, that is conveyed to our reclamation facility. We treat that water. That water is treated to what's called a Title 22 tertiary level, and that water is then used for multiple beneficiaries. One of them is ag. In fact, the ag community continues to be our biggest customer for EMWD. They purchase about 60 to 65% of all the recycled water that we sell. But we also provide that water to parks, to golf courses, to a wildlife area in San Jacinto. What we want to do is we want to take a stream of that water and purify it further through reverse osmosis treatment, through advanced oxidation, and then use that purified water to replenish our groundwater basin. The reason is that we're looking down the road, not only the next 5 and 10 years, but frankly the next 20, 30 years. As we continue to grow, we're going to have more recycled water. We want to make sure we have a succession plan. We want to make sure we have a home for that recycled water, and that is part of our long-term strategy. So we are one of the few agencies across the country that has a goal of utilizing 100% of our recycled water, and most years we do. We don't want to discharge any of that water. We look at it as a commodity to help our community, to help us reduce our reliance on import supplies. I mentioned we support the San Jacinto wildlife area, as well as constructed wetlands that we have. But we have recycled water used throughout this entire community. And you'll see our signage at parks, at schools. It's a drought-proof supply of water. So when there's a drought, we still have recycled water that we can provide our customers. Our purified water replenishment program, I won't get into too much detail, but essentially currently we do water banking. We want to overlay that with that purified water, with that recycled water. Essentially, when that water is available to us, we want to make sure we're putting it to good use and enhancing our groundwater resources. One thing I wanted to mention that Director Armstrong mentioned is that we're not only looking at investing and expanding our local resources, as I described with desalination and recycled water. We're actually looking outside of our region. What else can we do to make sure that we've secured the water needs of this region for the next 10, 20, 30 years? One of the things we're doing at Director Armstrong's request is we're actually looking at participating in an ocean desalination project down on Doheny Beach that some of you may have heard of. We are in final negotiations to participate in that project, and we're working through not only the concept of investing in that facility, but then how we would exchange that water, how that water down in South Orange County would be used to reduce their reliance on the Colorado River, and then we would get more of that water from the Colorado River. So there's a whole intricate set of agreements that we're working on to be able to exchange. But essentially, we will have an exchange of desalinated ocean water, potentially down here, to help our community grow. In addition, we're looking at participating in the Sites Reservoir in Northern California that you may have heard of. We're looking at applying to be part of that program. And then there's a local regional alliance. Us, Western Municipal Water District, Elsinore Municipal Water District, and Rancho, we have formed the Southwestern Water Alliance to look at other options that we would like to investigate further to, again, secure our water future. And that includes additional ocean desalination. We're looking at potentially the Camp Pendleton site. We want to see what is that feasible for us to advance. Stormwater capture and recharge, as well as imported wet year, local groundwater storage on a larger scale. So as we continue to invest in the needs of the community, I won't go through all these projects, but I know the City Council is very familiar with our projects that we're currently undertaking within the city of Menifee. And specifically, we have a number of pipelines that we want to replace aging infrastructure, one on Ridgemore, another on El Rancho Road, Thornville Drive, and Piping Rock Road. In addition, we're looking at expanding our water storage. And we're looking at constructing a new 8 million gallon storage tank along Getz Avenue that's going to help us not only meet the needs of the growing community, but improve fire flow as well to the community. We're also in final design on the Scott Road Gap Pipeline, and we're also in final design on the Valley Boulevard, brackish, and potable water lines. In support of our desalinization program, we need to construct additional conveyance. That is a fairly large project. It's 4 miles of essentially 36-inch diameter pipelines that will be constructed along Valley Boulevard. It's estimated to be a $20 million project. I don't want to forget about our wastewater investments as well. One of the key projects that we have worked on in the city is the Quail Valley, Sub-Area 4, as well as Sub-Area 9. Sub-Area 9 we completed a few years ago. Now we're focused on Sub-Area 4, essentially converting those septic tanks to municipal wastewater. To do that, we have to extend the sewer along Getz Road, but then we're also looking at individual properties. We're getting the property owners to sign up to allow us to enter their properties to do the field work. We need to understand where their septic tanks are located. This project involves not only sewer in the street, but we also have to do plumbing work on individual private properties. So we've been doing a significant amount of public outreach to get those agreements in place from the private property owners. We've also done extensive field work, geotechnical, survey, locating those septic tanks. And we're also very fortunate in discussions with Congressman Calvert. He's been a big supporter of our Quail Valley project. In fact, when Director Armstrong and the rest of our team goes back to DC, we often meet with Congressman Calvert. He's provided us 2 consecutive earmarks specifically targeted to help us advance the Quail Valley Sub-Area 4 project, and we're very fortunate to have that. So there's also, as I mentioned, a great deal of field work that's currently ongoing to locate utilities. And we understand sometimes residents may have differing availability, so we're working around their schedule, whether it's a weekend or after hours. So we want to work with the residents to make sure we're accessing their property when it's convenient for them. So just very quickly, water supply update. You've heard a lot in the news. Obviously, it's been an incredibly wet year. We've gone from historic drought to historic snowpack and wet conditions. What does that mean? Well, on the state water project side, it's basically almost full. All the statewide reservoirs. Locally here, Diamond Valley Lake is being filled up, and we anticipate it will be full to capacity by the end of the calendar year. Things have also improved on the Colorado River, but not to the same extent as the state water project. So currently, Lake Powell and Lake Mead, the 2 largest reservoirs in the nation, are at 38% and 34% respectively. So it's improved on the Colorado River, but it doesn't mean we can just sit back and relax. We need to continue all the initiatives that I described, make sure we continue to secure our water future, because we know we're going to be back in drought in the future. So let's invest, let's store that water when it's available, let's make sure we're ready to mitigate those impacts of drought. But I will have to tell you that Metropolitan Water District is going to be at a record-setting storage by the end of this year. They're going to have 3.4 million acre-feet of water stored. This is both in-region storage, such as Diamond Valley Lake, but also water stored in Lake Mead as well. So again, our response to the evolving water supply conditions, we're taking as much water as we can right now from Metropolitan through a program they call cyclic storage. Essentially, they give us the water at favorable terms. And so we're taking that water because it is plentiful, and we're storing it in the San Jacinto groundwater basin. We expect that by the end of the year, we'll have more than 7,500 acre-feet accumulated in that water, groundwater basin. But we also want to make sure we continue to inform our customers. They've been incredibly responsive. When we've asked them to conserve, they have responded incredibly well. So we want to continue to work with them. The non-functional turf issue, specifically for commercial, industrial, institutional, we want to make sure they're not using that precious drinking water to irrigate what is essentially just aesthetically turf. We want to make sure we work with them to remove that turf. And of course, there's other water waste restrictions that are still in place. We have a number of programs to help our customers be more efficient, from free drip irrigation systems. If you go on our website, there's a link to our Landscapes for Living. It has a lot of information about our programs and our effort to assist our customers to be more water efficient. With that, I want to thank the council and the mayor for your time this evening, and be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
All right, Mr. Mawad, thank you very much. Council members, do we have any questions?
Yeah, I got a quick question. When is the last time Diamond Valley has been at full capacity?
That's a great question, council members. I believe, if not mistaken, It was after the wet season of 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So, and right after that, you know, we started to enter into the record 3-year drought. But I believe it was 2019. We had an exceptionally wet year in 2017 and a less but still very generous wet year in 2019.
Councilmember Sobek?
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Commissioner Armstrong and Joe, for being here tonight and giving us this fantastic update on Eastern Municipal Water District. With the recent wet year that we've had, I had questions of my own. You answered a lot of them. In one of the slides toward the end, you mentioned that you were getting a good rate from Metropolitan Water District. You're taking advantage of that. Do you pass that on to customers?
Absolutely, absolutely. What we do is that's part of our water banking program. So what Metropolitan specifically provides is knowing that we're going to store that in the ground, they don't charge us for the treatment component. So we avoid to have to pay for the treatment of the water because essentially it's being stored. Now, we have to still pump that water subsequently when we have drought years and obviously treat the water before we serve it. But yes, all of that, all those discounts, and frankly, it's not just Metropolitan's favorable terms currently, but all the grants that I mentioned earlier that we've been successful in securing helps offset costs that otherwise would be passed on to our ratepayers.
Okay, thank you for that. One other question. So Menifee's grown. We are, as you mentioned, one of your busiest areas.
Yep.
How do you see the future of water in Menifee? Do you have the water to maintain up to our build out? We know as a council, we get a lot of questions from our residents in regards to water and other things. And just want to just put this out there that many of the developments that are happening now in the city of Menifee, many of them were approved before we were a city. And so as we do see these houses come online, rooftops come online, how are you going to be able to handle what is coming?
Thank you for the question, Council Member Sobek. A big part of what we do every day is planning. We have a number of planning initiatives that not only look at the next 5 years, but frankly, we look at the land use and the projected growth within not only the city of Menifee, but frankly, our entire service area for build out. And based on that knowledge, based on how quickly that growth is going to occur, we develop our investments in water supply, in groundwater resources, in imported water, in recycled water, in desalination. Our entire capital improvement program is making sure that we stay ahead of the curve relative to growth. And we've done that successfully year after year when we've seen record-setting growth. So to answer your question is, yes, we are confident that we're going to be able to continue to meet the needs of this, not only city of Menifee, frankly, which is one of the fastest growing community, but also our entire service area. It's for that reason that we're making the investments that I described earlier. So we will make certain that we're always staying ahead of the growth curve, absolutely. Now, I also want to mention, we're able to do that because of the incredible also efficiencies of our customers. Our customers have become so much more efficient in how they use that water, including the development community. Today, any new development in Riverside County, based on the model ordinance that the County of Riverside passed, and everyone here is subject to, you can't have non-functional turf in a new tract home. Any project being approved in the County of Riverside, you're not able to do that. But in addition, the efficiencies inside the home are incredible relative to water use. So it's not one single thing. It's not strictly importing additional water or creating recycled water or creating local desalination. It's all of that, plus our customers just being more efficient in how they use that water.
Thank you. I did say that was my second question, but I did have one more.
Please.
When I first was on the city council, there was a water academy that I could take to understand more about water in our region. Is that still offered?
Yes. In fact, we have our Water Leaders Academy tomorrow. You may be able to still join us if you'd like. We're meeting tomorrow at 8 o'clock at our headquarters. But yes, the program is back. It was went virtual during the pandemic, but we have resumed our Water Leaders Academy, and we would definitely welcome suggestions from the council and others. If you're interested, please let us know. Amanda Fine is our public affairs representative for the community, and we would love to have you join us at one of those sessions.
And who can attend that?
Frankly, anyone who's interested in water, who's willing to listen to us for a day long on water issues, and we take a deep dive into all things water. So if you're interested, please get in touch with Amanda Fine.
Okay, thank you. I just know it was very educational for me, helped me as a council member, and I was able to answer questions when residents would ask them to me. So thank you, and I'm glad to see that back.
Thank you.
I think we just got the distilled version just now here in that same class. So, Mr. Mawad, thank you so much for being here. Director Armstrong, Ms. Fine, thank you. We appreciate this great partnership we have with our water district. We appreciate you taking time and do these periodic updates. And so thank you for taking the time tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate the opportunity. And I just wanted to close out by saying on September 27th, we have the State of the District event at our headquarters at 7:30. We want to invite all the council members as well as your executive team to attend that event. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for the invitation. All right, well done. Okay, we are now on item 5.5. This is city and county development to the east of the city update. And I see our community development director, Ms. Kitzrow, here, so I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. It's my pleasure to kind of key up this item for you tonight. We are joined by our 3rd District County Supervisor Washington and County CEO Juan Perez. They are going to provide the council an update on development activity occurring to the east of the city as requested by the council as a future agenda item. I also want to make the council aware that there is, in addition to this presentation, there's another item on tonight's agenda where we will be presenting a joint memorandum of understanding between the city and the county to foster collaboration on development activity. You just heard, and I think we're well aware, we've got significant development activity in the Southwest Riverside region, and so we want to ensure that constant collaboration occurs to be ahead of the game. So with that, I'd like to introduce Supervisor Washington and CEO Juan Perez.
All right, welcome, Supervisor. We appreciate you taking time tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, and esteemed staff. City of Menifee, it's a pleasure to be here before you tonight. I have to say, I was listening earlier, and you hear the comment frequently about how fast Menifee is growing. I don't know if you knew, but Riverside County is the fastest growing county in the state, and I think it's all because of Menifee. So, all things Menifee. I love Menifee. You guys are doing a great job here. Unfortunately, I'm just the eye candy tonight. Juan will be doing the heavy lifting, but I wanted to let you know that from the very beginning, when City of Menifee joined the 3rd District, we had a meeting right here at City Hall. My Chief of Staff, Robin, joined me for that meeting, and concerns were raised about some of the development that is going on just outside the city limits to the east. That is an area that has been in the 3rd District for the entire 8.5 years that I've been on the Board of Supervisors, so I'm somewhat familiar with the region, but Menifee is new to the 3rd District. And so we want to create an opportunity to collaborate because the region belongs to all of us, right? Your constituents are also my constituents, and I want to see them living a high quality of life. And the way to go about doing that is for the county and the city to partner and find solutions to our challenges. And so we listen to you. We listen to Ms. Kitzrow, who fortunately I've known for many years from her Temecula days and my Temecula days. And I know that she knows what she's talking about. And of course, you know Juan Perez. Juan has been in the industry, in the profession for decades, very knowledgeable, great leader. So I think you're going to enjoy his presentation tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Perez.
Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Mayor and Council. It's always a pleasure and an honor for me to come before you. I've worked alongside many of you for many years, even prior to the city's incorporation. And for those of you that I haven't had the pleasure of working with, just to tell you a little bit about myself to kind of help set the stage. I am blessed to be celebrating my 22nd year at the county. Although the last 3 have been with our executive office, my background has been heading our transportation line management agency and our transportation department for about 20 of those 22 years. So it's really so many fond memories of working with all of you and here associated with the city of Menifee. And I wanted to take a few minutes to just provide some context. Certainly talk about where we are today, and you have an item, I think a little bit later on as a consent item. I'll say a few words about that. So we'll talk a little bit about the present, but I think it's also important to talk about the past and then talk about the future as we work together to keep collaborating. So a little bit on the item, and I'll withhold other comments, certainly stay available for that if the council would like to have any further deeper dive discussion. But we do have an item before you, and I want to thank Mr. Villa and city staff for working with county staff closely in developing it. I think the name of it says it all. It's the Memorandum of Understanding by and between the County of Riverside and the City of Menifee to enhance communication and coordination of development projects of mutual interest. And it's really when we work together, as Supervisor Washington has mentioned, in a spirit of cooperation that we get things done, and that we can address mutual concerns, and that we uplift the region as a whole, and really contribute to this being the thriving community and all the communities around Menifee. So we're pleased to bring this before you. It does provide a framework for regular consultation and coordination, and regular meetings, certainly at least quarterly, but more often than that, between city community development, public works staff, and county transportation and management agency staff. And I'll certainly be a part of that along the way as well. So more to come on that later. I do want to kind of step back a little bit and provide some historical context, which I think is important. And Councilmember Sobek mentioned, and appropriately so, that you see projects here in the city as we do in the county that oftentimes some of these projects were approved many, many years ago, prior to the city's incorporation or even further back for some projects in the county area. And because of the pace of development and because of the recession that was very deep that we all experienced as a region in 2007, 2008, and still had really lingering effects for years afterwards, it really put a pause on development. And we're starting to finally, in some ways, see that moving forward now. Several years now after the recession, but as we work together to develop and prepare plans for infrastructure, certainly water, and you have great partners here in EMWD, but I'm going to focus on transportation today as being some key ones. So a few projects that I'm really proud of that we have worked together as a region to deliver for our collective constituents. One particular actually dates all the way back to 2003. Back then, the county developed the first CFD out in this high growth area. And I have to give a special shout out to Councilmember Dinas for his work at the county back in the day to help look ahead for what this growth was going to be like and help put funding mechanisms in place to help pay for the development, the infrastructure needed to support that development. The Newport Road interchange was formed in 2003, I believe, going to the Wayback Machine now, but Dominigoni Parkway, at the time it was Newport Road and then changed names to Dominigoni Parkway, between Menifee and Winchester Road was built around 2005-ish or so, right around that time. So it's important to highlight that because we're just starting to see now, because of the recession, because of other lags in infrastructure over the years, we're starting to just see development going out there now, today, almost 20 years later, that essentially help pay through development bonds and continue to pay on those bonds for years for the benefit of Dominigoni Parkway and the transportation improvements that we've had in place for decades. A couple of projects that I know the city is particularly proud of, and rightfully so, and we're proud to have been your partners in, are the Newport 215 interchange and also the Scott Road and 215 interchange. And I think those are great examples of how we work together as a region. And the region certainly goes even beyond the city and the county. It involves our collective work. Your council sits, as well as our board, on regional bodies such as the Riverside County Transportation Commission and the Western Riverside Council of Governments. I'll continue with the acronyms. Programs like the TUNF, the Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee. That's a fee along all Western Riverside County to help development pay for its way. And together, because of those things and because of some work that the county was able to do early on in establishing community facilities districts to help bond against those fees, that we've been able to also contribute and work closely with the city on these improvements that have been so vast and needed. One in particular that I want to invite all of you out to, I believe we're going to be cutting a ribbon sometime in late October, is the completion of Clinton Keith Road. Between right now, it kind of ends at Leon Road. It takes a sharp curve, and it will continue all the way to 79. And that certainly will provide another important east-west arterial all the way from 79 to the Clinton Keith interchange on the 215, and beyond that, all the way to the Clinton Keith interchange on the 15. As another major point of traffic relief. That one is particularly $60 million in CFD funding. It's a project that, because of the size, we've had to kind of build in stages over the years in different stages. So we're very proud to be cutting that ribbon here in the near future, and certainly would welcome the city's participation in celebrating. I also want to talk about, so we talked about the Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee, but that is one of several fee programs that have been put in place by the county, and many of them continued by the city to help mitigate and provide for needed funding for infrastructure improvements. The road and bridge benefit districts are another one. These were set up by the county back in the early 2000s. One for the Menifee Valley area that helped provide funding for the Newport 215 interchange as well, the Getz Road Bridge, when that was built as part of the Yachty Murphy development many years ago. Improvements on Marietta Road. And I want to highlight that we continue to work to collect funds, and we'll be working with the city on transferring funds to some of the projects that are important to you and you have active, including for the Holland Road 215 overpass. We also collecting funds for projects in the county, but again, will benefit the region at Leon Road and Rice Road, needed bridges over the Salt Creek Channel. We also set up a road and bridge benefit district in the Scott Road area, and that also provided funding to the Scott Road I-215 interchange and to the widening of Scott Road that we have in place now, and we'll continue to, as more development occurs there, continue to expand that widening of Scott Road all the way over to Winchester Road. And that's another vehicle as well that we'll be working with your staff on, because we do collect some dollars towards the Garbani 215 overpass as well. So these are mechanisms that the county has put in place, and we can work together and collaborate on to contribute our fair share of as development happens in the county towards these facilities. I do want to talk about the future. So we have many opportunities for collaboration, certainly. A lot of development projects, some of them have been, again, just kind of coming forward now after many years for different reasons, and we'll continue to collaborate on those and have discussions around those. One of the areas that I know is important to both the city and the county is the Winchester community, and as we look at the community plan in Winchester, this started out as a grassroots effort, very important to our folks in the Winchester community many years ago, to come together and look to see how we could develop a blueprint for growth out there. And certainly over the last few years, we have seen more and more of an impetus at the state level, a recognition of housing attainability and affordability and the importance of that, and some very significant state goals for all of us on housing and providing housing. That we have to be cognizant of, and we want to work together to do that in a planned way, in a balanced way that balances housing with the services that support housing, whether it's retail or other types of services, so that we can have communities that can be self-sustaining and provide opportunities for self-sustaining growth in those communities. So this is an important one. We circulated an environmental document maybe over a year ago or so. We received some good comments from city staff and the community, and we're going to be working together to address those comments, continue to work with city staff, and come back in the future to have further conversations on that topic. So some of the objectives, I kind of talked about that, is looking at mixed-use areas, especially along the rail corridor. We do have a rail corridor that goes through Winchester and into Hemet, long term. That will be opportunities for continuation of commuter rail service, and it's something to be mindful of in our planning as we do that, as well as in the shorter term, creating communities that are more sustainable, more walkable, have mixed-use development of housing and commercial and other services in close proximity, so there's less of an impetus for folks to have to drive and get in their car to go get services elsewhere. So that's a bit on that. I gave you a bit of a quick whirlwind tour. Certainly happy to entertain any further questions. But more than anything, I just want to express our commitment as a county to continue to work together with all of you, with your fine staff. We have great lines of communication, and we want to keep those open and constant, and continue to work together in the model that has worked for us in Riverside County, and that's collaboration to deliver these improvements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. And I don't know, Supervisor Washington, do you have anything else to share? No. You're standing by for questions, because I see some of our council members.
If there are questions, I'll try to answer them, or Juan can, but just wanted to thank you for the opportunity. And I think really, I was talking to Cheryl earlier, because I was telling her, in all the years that I've been on the board and served on the Murrieta City Council and the Temecula City Council, I've never been involved in something like this. It's rather unique, and I think it's great. It represents, a willingness on the part of the city and the county to work together to solve our regional issues, and so I think it's a good start for us. Yeah,
it is a good start, and I'm pleased, and I'm looking forward to our consent calendar item 10.11, because we will be approving, hopefully, this MOU, because it just makes sense. So thank you. I do have a question from Councilmember Sobek.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks for being here tonight. Supervisor Washington, I know you have a very busy schedule, and Mr. Juan Perez, it's nice to see you here in the city of Menifee tonight. I do have a question. I was hoping to be able to hear a little bit about the Ethanac Expressway, that when I was a planning commissioner, first heard about it and how it was going to alleviate east-west traffic that is now impacting some of our main corridors here in the city. So I don't know if you can give us, I keep waiting to hear about it. I keep looking for information on it, and I hear nothing.
Yeah, I appreciate your questions, Council Member, and that's another key important project. So we focused a lot on projects from the 215 and easterly, along Scott Road and Dominigoni Parkway, but certainly those needs are there, and even greater in some areas from the 215 over to the 15, right, and continuing to have that regional flow. And there's two particular corridors that I think are particularly important to that. One is along Cajalco Road, and there's work being done at the county on environmental documents for Cajalco. So the Ethanac corridor is one that essentially starts, if you will, at the railroad tracks just east of the 215, long term, and would provide for a connection to the Ethanac interchange, and then going across the San Jacinto River to intercept 74, and then continue along 74, and at some other point further west, then be able to eventually connect to the Nichols interchange over by the 15. That's a project that had some momentum a number of years ago. I think what we saw is a need to refocus on that. It's going to take a partnership, because it's beyond certainly just the city and the county. It's also working together with other agencies. whether that's the city of Paris, city of Lake Elsinore, other communities along the way. So I think there is an opportunity to kind of restart those conversations, and it's going to take some hard work and some collaborative work from all those partners to come together and to work through our CTC to advance those studies, because it is very much a needed long-term corridor out there.
Yes, I totally agree. And can you tell me how many rooftops are planned in that county area, Winchester, just east of us?
I don't have the number offhand. I'm going to have to go back and check on that to provide that. But it certainly is a very large area in that Winchester community. I don't want to give you wrong information, so I will provide that, and I'll be happy to come back in the future once we have recirculated that environmental document to do just a deeper dive and come out with our planning and transportation staff to get into more details on that particular community plan.
Great, thank you. I really appreciate you coming out tonight, giving us an update. I appreciate your willingness to work with the city and our city staff, all the work that they've done, so that we can have a open door policy and be at the table to have those conversations as those rooftops do come in. So thank you for being here again tonight.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Stobeck. Council members, do we have any more questions? All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys coming today and being here, and we look forward to good things ahead between the county and the city. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, council members, we are going to come back to the front because we have added an agenda item 5.6, our outstanding citizen for September, and that's Laura Lester. And so, Laura, if you'll join us in the front, we would appreciate that. Check, check. And where did Randy go? Did he have to leave? Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, this was kind of slipped in towards the end. So, everybody, just so you know, each month we select a citizen of the month. Each council member rotates and chooses somebody. We look for people who are serving the community and volunteers and helping us with the task of improving our quality of life. This month's choice was by Councilmember Estrada, and he has chosen Laura Lester, and so I'm going to allow him to share a few words about why he chose Laura.
Laura, thank you so much for being here. The reason I chose Laura was all about fun, okay? One of the mission statements when you choose a Citizen of the Month is live, work, and play, and tonight I wanted to focus on play. Laura is a local KJ. She performs at all the local establishments. She's probably more popular than all the council members combined in the city of Menifee. You make Menifee a fun place to hang out. Not only does she contribute to the entertainment here in Menifee at all the local businesses, but she contributes her time and donates her time to the senior communities and goes to those events and provides entertainment for the seniors. I know talking to a lot of the residents when I'm out to see you, Laura, and to sing karaoke along with you, people come from not only Menifee, but around the region to sing a song with you. So thank you so much for your contributions to our city, and thanks for making Menifee a fun place to be.
Oh, thank you.
All right. How many of you would like to hear Laura sing? No, I'm just kidding. Laura, we do allow you to share a few words if you'd like.
Well, thank you. First of all, I'm honored to receive this. And thank you to Councilman Ricky Estrada for nominating me for this. I was totally unexpecting this. So, but just a short story. We've been doing this for 14 years here in Menifee, serving the community. We just want to see people, you know, happy and just fill them with a bunch of kindness and love from our hearts. So thank you again.
So on behalf of the City Council, today we are honoring and recognizing you on the 6th day of September 2023 as our Citizen of the Month. And your husband, Randy, I think is a part of this as well because he and you both do the same thing, and he's a great guy too. So please pass on our appreciation to him as well. All right, let's tighten up. We'll do a photo together. Wait, stay on.
Thank you so much.
All right, we are now on item 7. This is public comments for our non-agenda items. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak on our non-agenda items?
Yes, I do have a couple requests. to
Okay,
speak.
so before we call their names, this is the time for members of the public to address the council about items that are not listed on the agenda. The Brown Act limits the council's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time such comments are made, and each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes on any single item. With that being read, Madam Clerk, would you please call the first speaker?
First up is Bo Bowditch, followed by Daniel Bringhurst.
All right, welcome, Mr. Bowditch.
Thank you for having me. This is a great place to live. I've been living in this community, Marietta, Temecula, since 1992. We moved here in 2018, and I really appreciate it. I love the attitude here. It's a very, very great blessing. Appreciate that. Question. Do you know what a paper tiger is? Anybody know what a paper tiger is? Yes, no? Okay. Well, with that said, I'll tell you in just a second here. I live over here off of Newport and the Lone Pine and Long Pine. I live right underneath the Menifee water tower. I'm often going at night. I leave my window open and I hear cars going down Newport at excessive speed. I would reckon 90, 100 miles per hour. I hear them all the time. I hear the RPMs going way over 8,000, 9,000 RPMs, and it's really fast. A paper tiger is something that you'll see. It has a look of a tiger. It has the feel of it and so on and so forth, but there's no bite to it. It's ineffective. And so when someone recognizes a paper tiger, there's nothing there, they just cast it off. In that sense, we have a little thing up there. It's on the eastbound and the westbound Newport, which shows your speed. It doesn't make any difference. Nobody cares. And that's a dangerous highway. As I'm going up there, going to the west, I make a turnout, and cars are going so fast down there any time of the day, you know, from 6 in the morning till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. It's very dangerous. You got to kind of ease out there, and the cars on the I guess the inside lane there, you can hardly see them for the bushes, and it's just dangerous. And so my thought was this: a real tiger has bite and consequences to it. So you may know where I'm going. I would recommend that you replace the paper tiger, which shows you how fast you're going, which nobody pays attention to, with something that has bite to it, might issue tickets. If people understand all of a sudden there's consequences to their speed, they might slow down, and it might make the travel a bit safer there. That's my thoughts. Okay? Any comments? Okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr. Bowditch. We appreciate your good encouragement. All right, next speaker, please.
Next up is Daniel Brighurst.
All right, welcome, Mr. Brighurst.
Thank you. In your red folder, there is information about this, but with 3 minutes, it might be easier to just listen. My name is Daniel Bringhurst from your Gettys group. Thank you for having me tonight and listening to me tonight. So the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development has issued a grant, and tonight's comments are about bringing that grant money to the city of Menifee and also Western Riverside County as a whole. Now, there's over $85 million they're putting out there for this. Now, the first step in this is to remind the federal government why California is a priority. Over the last 2 years, California has lost over 500,000 people. Our population has declined by over 500,000 people. Unlike the city of Menifee, anyways, I better continue. So now we have to identify an obstacle to create housing, because that's why the money's out there, to identify and remove an obstacle to housing. Pro-housing, they've abbreviated it as. So an average affordable housing unit within California costs $420,000, one unit. Now the interest on that is over $1,200, over $1,000 a month. Why am I going into that? There's rent restrictions in the low-income world, and only the top third of the low-income population can afford over $1,000 a month, can actually pay that, according to the state of California. So that top third gets all the attention. They get the units. So that leaves the other 2/3 of the population not addressed. And in order to address that, developers, we skew it. The ratios are all towards the top third, and maybe 5-to-1, 2-to-1, in the nice scenario you'll see in your packet. But essentially, interest on money to create affordable housing units creates 2/3 of the population. It's unaffordable to create affordable housing for 2/3 of the population. So to overcome that, what has been done is interest reserves get taken as part of awarded money. So like say a $4 million grant, temporary funding, 5 years, 3%. We're talking $600,000 of the $4 million that gets taken as interest reserves just to be repaid back. So what happens with that? That has to be turned into permanent funding, as well as the initial $4 million as well. All of that calculated out over 30, 55 years for permanent funding turns into over $8.1 million in just interest. So we're looking at a project, a $12 million project, where $8 million of it is already interest. Maybe interest is an issue with the cost of affordable housing. And removing all the steps that have to do with loans, it reduces the time frame by over 100 days to get projects done. So suggestion, pursue this grant money. Our group is willing to partner with you and prevent people from moving from California. Thank you for listening to me.
All right, very good. Thank you. Madam Clerk, any other speakers on non-agenda matters?
No, there are no more requests to speak.
All right, thank you. We are now on item 8. This is council member updates and comments, and we'll start with Councilman Dinas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. August 23rd, I attended the Southwest Teen Now meeting as a part of RTA. The city of Menifee hosted that meeting, and a special thanks goes out to Mr. Fielder for giving his presentation on that, on active transportation. It was well received. Second of all, I would say I volunteered to to join the RTA Administration Operations Committee. We had a meeting today on that, and I attended that. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Councilmember Estrada.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On August 18th, I went to the ribbon cutting for delicious artisanal ice cream, and I think we're all still stuffed from that, but everything is really great. Everything there is handmade, so if you go to the Sun City Cherry Hills Plaza, you can get some fresh handmade ice cream. Everything is made from scratch, so there's my recommendation. Give it a shot. On August 23rd, I went to the Menifee Valley Middle School, and the mayor was there with me, and we did a community, let me double check my notes, a community pedestrian workshop. And that's when we partnered with local agencies to put together information to qualify for grant money to improve the quality of life there for students walking and going and bicycling to and from school at Menifee Valley Middle School. And so Menifee's on the right track. We showed up, and our public works director, Nick Fiddler, was there, and we want to qualify for grant money. And so that workshop helps the city in that direction. And the last thing I did was we went to the Kumon Math ribbon cutting, and guys, math scores are down across the country. And so we all know youthful members of our society who are still going to school. If they need help with math or English, there's a tutoring center right there next to Sprouts on Newport. So give them a shot. That is all I got.
All right, very good. Thank you for your report. Councilmember Sobek.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to report out a few things that I've attended this last month since our last meeting. As it's been mentioned, we had a couple of ribbon cuttings, some mom and pop places in the city, one of them being the ice cream place in Sun City, which you heard about, and then the Kumon Math and Reading Center that is now available as an option for our families. I attended the memorial service and the celebration of life for our dear Battalion Chief, Joss Bischoff, and just send my condolences to his family and Cheryl and the family. Our CAL FIRE firefighters paid a wonderful tribute to Josh, and I felt humbled and honored to be able to attend that. I attended the Menifee Interfaith and Community Service Council meeting this week, and Robert Cardenas from our city was the guest speaker and talked about, and I didn't write it down, what's the name of the program? What's the name of the program he talked about, the emergency program that we have now? Anybody remember? What is it? Yes, emergency alert. Thank you very much. So he talked about that, and that was shared, and that information's getting out and about now. So if you have an organization and you want to learn more about that program, that is a fantastic program that our citizens, it will only work if we sign up for it to receive those emergency alerts. Attended the Fall Festival meeting, and I did want to share a couple of slides of a couple of things that I did attend, and one of them was, oh, it skipped it. Can I go back? Okay, thank you. MSJC Athletics and Kinesiology Complex. What a beautiful addition to our city. This is going to become, I think, a real jewel in our city, this new football stadium and this state-of-the-art facility is just going to be wow in Menifee. So just thank you to MSJC for inviting us, and I know that our mayor will probably say a few things about that because he was on the board at one time. I also wanted to share that today we were able to welcome home Chief Petty Officer Nicholas Taylor. I know our police department was involved with this, working with Menifee 24/7. Our post 1956 had representatives there. A couple of us council members were there, but Nicholas Taylor's family did not know he was coming home today. And so there was a surprise to his daughters and his wife and his mother-in-law, and it was a real joy to be part of that. And I just want to say welcome home to him. I did want to end up with saying that Monday is 9/11, and there is a ceremony being held at MSJC starting at 7 a.m. in the morning if you would like to attend. And that's all I have for tonight.
All right, excellent report. Mayor Pro Tem Carwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few things here, along with all of us. I was at the ribbon cutting for delicious artisanal ice cream in Sun City. It's in the Cherry Hills Plaza. A lot of new things coming in over there. Exciting time. On August 22nd, the mayor and I we comprised the Economic Development Subcommittee, had a meeting there discussing some of the issues that we're raising for us. Let's see, what is today? So this was just yesterday. September 5th, I held a forum at the Hillside Estates mobile home community where I spent an hour with the residents there answering their questions about things going on around the city. And along those lines, just kind of as a little advertisement, coming up on September 25th, it's a Monday, I'll be having a town hall, a formal town hall for District 1. Members of our staff will be there who can attend. And it's going to be at the Ridgemore Elementary School multipurpose room at 6 p.m. So if you want to come and hear updates from the city, get questions answered, that'll be September 25th 5th, Monday, 6 p.m. at Ridgemore Elementary School multipurpose room. Just today, I was also at the welcome home for Chief Petty Officer Nicholas Thomas, a proud member of SEAL Team 7, he let us know about. That's about all he was allowed to tell us for where he's been for the past few months, but it was really exciting to be a part of that. I've been down that rabbit hole many times watching those military members come home and surprise their families, so it was really exciting to see one live. And I had a question for Mr. Nix. I was just wondering if you could give me some idea of when La Ladera Park is going to be done. I know there's some turf replacement there with more drought-resistant replacing the turf. We heard from EMWD today about taking out the turf that's not being used and replacing it with drought-resistant materials, and it's been going on for a while. Any idea when that's going to be done?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. It's also a conversion project where we're going, as you heard from General Manager Mawad, from potable water to reclaimed water. So that's one of our largest parks, 8.3 acres, that was on potable water. So EMWD has been a fantastic partner with us to help finance that through the reduction in the rate. So it's very positive, and they're also working with us on some grants where we can maybe offset that cost. But to really answer your question, we're hoping to finish that up this month.
Outstanding. We're looking forward to getting that park looking spectacular again and getting it full back in use. And that's a great project there. I'm so glad we're doing that, and it ties in nicely with our update tonight. And that's what I've got.
All right, very good. I'll try to be quick. I attended RCTC's subcommittee, the Western Riverside Project and Programs Commission meeting, and also I joined my council members for the artisanal, is that the right way to say it? Ice cream place? Artisanal? Right? Artisanal, yeah. And then there was a Foodie Friday that I attended last week, and then the pedestrian workshop with Councilmember Estrada. I also attended the Economic Development Subcommittee with our Mayor Pro Tem and the Kumon Learning Center that the Chamber cut the ribbon there. That was a great event. Councilmember Sobek and I joined some of our staff members to pay honor to Chief Bischoff, and it was a great ceremony hosted by CAL FIRE. I attended the Interfaith Council meeting and yesterday's dedication ceremony at MSJC's new athletic complex. And today I joined, three of us went to the surprise welcome home for CPO Tom Taylor. So that's my report. If anybody else has anything else to add. Hearing none, we're going to go ahead and move on now to our next agenda item is 9. This is approval of minutes from August 16th. Do we have any revisions to those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any nays? All right, hearing none. That's approved unanimously. We're now on our consent calendar item. This is item 10. All matters on the consent calendar are to be approved in one motion unless a council member requests a separate action on a specific item on the consent calendar. If an item is removed from the calendar, it'll be discussed individually and acted upon separately. So, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests from the public to speak on consent calendar items?
There are no requests to speak on consent calendar items, but there is an email correspondence in your folders for 10.8.
10.8, very good, thank you. We will review that correspondence. Council members, are there any items that we'd like to pull from consent for discussion? Okay.
I would like to pull 10.4 and 10.11.
10.9, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any others, council members? Can I get a motion to approve the balance, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All right, and I see the summary there is that passes unanimously. So let's go ahead and take our first item. It was item 10.4. This is our monthly public safety reports. And Councilmember Sobek, did you have a question or a comment?
I have a comment that I would like to discuss with the PD on their false alarms, and just maybe we can, I have a question. So I noticed that again in July, our false alarms, we had 310 false alarms and 1 true. And this just concerns me as it takes away for our response times to be down probably where they should. I know a while back we had this alarm ordinance come before us, and I don't know, some more work needed to be done on it. In my discussion yesterday with the city manager, I made mention, and I wanted to get this going. I know that some of our council members were concerned to make sure that if we provided a fine, that it would work. And so I'm wondering if we might be able to take a baby step and at least start with commercial businesses to look to see if there are certain businesses that are really, creating those false alarms on numerous occasions that we might be able to look at. So I don't know if you have anything to say on the false alarm.
Councilmember Sobek?
Yes.
If I could interrupt for a second.
Is that
This would
not?
be really better as a future agenda
Oh,
item.
okay.
And we just do it then, and maybe at the end of the meeting.
All right. So can I ask if it's coming back to us soon?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. If it avoids a future
All right.
agenda item.
All right. Is this coming back to us soon?
Yes, we are preparing a report and some discussions prior to our next council presentation. We're estimating November or December to bring this back to council.
Okay, great. You answered my question, so thank you.
All right, thank you.
Do you want to make a motion?
Yes, I make a motion, we approve the monthly safety reports.
Okay, that passed unanimously. I'm going to do these in consecutive order. So Councilmember Estrada asked to pull item 10.9, which is our Community Services Department Landscape Architect Service on-call short list. Did you have a question or concerns or?
Yeah, I had a question of staff and a little bit of a concern. So if we can pull up the RFQ evaluation summary, do we have that slide available? Tech, do we have that? Anyone?
No, unfortunately, we don't have that on a slide.
Okay, I'll try to do my best for the public. So one of the contractors scored pretty highly, Kemley Horn and Associates. They got a 90.3 on their evaluation score, and they scored better than the numbers 2 and 3 recommended on their evaluation score. Now their interview score was only 0.34 off from the third ranked company. And so I'd just like to know why Kemley Horn and Associates, when they scored higher than numbers 2 and 3 in the evaluation score, weren't given a little bit more leverage.
Okay, so Mariana Mitchell, Community Services Manager. Happy to answer your question. So the RFP process is a lot like the interview process for candidates who are seeking employment. So each step in this stage of this so-called recruitment, especially when we're recruiting for vendors, is a separate process in itself. So the proposal is scored individually based on the information they provide, and the interview is also scored individually. So kind of along the same lines as somebody who's applying for a position may have a stellar application, looks great on paper. You get them in the room and you talk about what we're actually looking to accomplish, and it just doesn't fit our needs. So that's kind of how, so it's not cumulative and it's not averaged. It's each step is scored individually.
Well, I think they did a great job with their package. They almost came in number 1, and their interview score, you can argue is subjective. They were only 0.34 off, and I'd like to add them to the list of on-call applicants, or move the third place company, RHA Landscape and Architect Planners, off the list. Thoughts?
Can I interject real quick? The reason why we had selected the top 3 interviewers was because we're looking at the future and the type of workload that we were looking to utilize these vendors for. We didn't feel that we had enough work to, bring in 4 of the top scoring candidates. So that's why we selected the top 3 for the interview process.
Okay, so they're on call. We don't have to use them, correct?
No, we don't.
Okay.
But as I mentioned, Kimberly Horn, when it came down to the interview process, I know that they're currently on some of our other on-call lists with the engineering department, and we have utilized them in the past. So when it came down to the interview, again, we're looking for vendors to help us with doing some of our park planning concepts. We're looking for unique, creative ideas. Kimberly Horn was more of an engineering firm, which is why they're already on an engineering on-call list, which we've utilized in the past.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I'd like to motion to approve with the modification to add a fourth company on there, Kemley Horn and Associates. Did I word that properly, Mr. City Manager?
Yes.
Can I ask why? What do you know about that company that makes you want to add them to the list based on this evaluation?
Well, I'm going to trust staff. They gave them a high score, 90.33, when 2 out of the other 3 companies scored 86 and below.
But you're not trusting staff to make them not one of the top 3?
No, we can keep the top 3. We're adding a fourth, giving us more options.
Ms. Mitchell, is there any reason why we wouldn't add a fourth on-call?
No, there's not necessarily a reason why we wouldn't be able to, but again, the workload that we were looking at, we weren't sure if we'd have enough work for all 4 vendors in the future. But.
Okay. Well,
Is there any economic impact to adding a fourth to the on-call? Do they get a financial stipend or anything for being on that list?
No. Essentially what we do is when we have a project that's available, we'll go out to the on-call list and they'll submit proposals to us, and then we'll pick the one that best fits our needs.
I think based off of merit, they scored really high, and we should give them a chance.
all right, and I do see Mr. Melching's in the queue.
Sorry, Mayor, this is just a parliamentary issue. Once a motion has been made, it's not ripe for discussion at that point. There's either a second or there's not. And I think the way this went, Councilmember Estrada made a motion, but I didn't hear a second. So if I didn't hear it, I apologize. But at this point, there's only one thing that should happen. Either there should be a second or not.
Okay, so council members, this is the opportunity to second the motion or not. All right, I don't see a second, so the motion is dead. And I'll make a substitute motion or a new motion that we approve the on-call list as recommended by staff. Can I get a second?
Second.
If it's frozen up, Madam Clerk, we certainly do a voice vote.
Councilmember Dynas?
Yes.
Councilmember Estrada?
Nay.
Councilmember Sobek? Mayor Pro Tem Carwin?
Yes.
And Mayor Zimmerman?
Yes. All right, so that approves of 4 yeses and 1 dissent. And now we'll go to our next pulled item. That was 10.11 by Councilmember Sobek. It's the memorandum of understanding with the county and the city to enhance communication between the 2 agencies.
Yes, I just have one question, reading over the MOU. Point 4 talks about that there will be discussion on the adjacent and in the vicinity. And I was wondering if we might want to define what the vicinity is, if we need a clarification on that.
Thank you, Councilmember Sobek. You know, this was something that we discussed through the process as well, and we felt that leaving it a little bit more vague gives us more flexibility in the future, because if we say within a mile's radius, let's just give an example, and there's a project that is larger and their impacts, you know, if the project is 3 miles out in the county, but they result in impacts that reach our city, we don't want to limit the opportunity. I think in good practice, the staff at TLMA and here are generally looking at routing projects that don't go beyond Winchester or, you know, don't go beyond, I can't think of a northerly street, but geographically speaking, I think the adjacent and in the vicinity it is helpful, even though it isn't a specifically defined area. From a legal perspective, I don't know if Mr. Melching wants to add anything, because I know he was part of those discussions as well with the team, and we did address that.
Yeah, just very briefly, we did have a decent amount of back and forth about what's adjacent and what's in the vicinity. And in the end, I think the community development director's point was the one that kind of carried the day, which is there are such a variety of projects that'll be coming up. The harder you work to define what's in the vicinity, the more challenging it becomes, or the more likely you are to end up actually excluding a project that you meant to include. And in the end, this is a memorandum of understanding. At its most fundamental, it's absolutely an agreement, both sides are going to sign it, but at its most fundamental, it is an expression of a shared intent of the parties to work together. And so we didn't feel like this was like the moment to hem that in by defining the vicinity too tightly. We've tried to kind of capitalize on the spirit of what the parties were trying to do.
So, you know, if some of the parties changed, I just want to make sure there's clear understanding, as there is now. You know, I know sometimes when there's things that aren't defined, there can be confusion later on. So I don't know if there's something, you know, if you feel it's good, I'll go with it. But it was something that I did kind of like question when I read the MOU. So.
Mm-hmm. I think at this point, staff's comfortable with it the way it's written. I think certainly it's something we can monitor, and if there's an anomaly that occurs in the next year or two that warrants a revision or a further refinement to that language, I think we can address that at that time. Okay. I did also want to take an opportunity just to let the council know there is a red line version in your red folders, minor clerical edits that were made this morning that don't change the spirit or intent of the MOU.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilman.
Regarding that, you know, the city attorney knows that I'm a stickler for definitions as well. But whose determination of vicinity is it?
That's a great question too. So we thought about making it the party who was the sponsor of the project or the affected adjacent agency, and in the end we left it neither, so that it's an objective test.
So it's not in the vicinity as determined by the city or as determined by the county or developer. It's just
in the vicinity, and to sort of add to that, there's an additional part to that test. It's in the vicinity. Sorry, it's in the vicinity. Let me get it. It's in the vicinity.
Why doesn't it just say, and in a location that could potentially cause impacts? I mean,
that's what the next sentence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like that term muddies up something that's very clear. I mean, it's just projects adjacent and in the vicinity that could potentially cause impacts. I mean, the vicinity seems to add vagueness to something that seems pretty clear. If it's a place that could cause impacts, it doesn't matter whether it's in the vicinity or not by whatever definition.
So for whatever it's worth, I'm not a big advocate for either of these, except for one thing that you said I want to make very clear. It says adjacent to or in the vicinity. So it doesn't have to be adjacent and in the vicinity under paragraph 4.
Oh, I was looking at subsection F of the Memorandum of Understanding. It says, as part of the county's review and approval of development projects adjacent, comma, and in the vicinity of the city.
Yeah, you should be looking at paragraph 4.
Well, I'm looking at this one.
Fair enough. You're looking at the recitals. I'm looking at the operative provisions of the agreement.
Okay, so the
And so you
recitals
should be
don't
looking
matter.
at
This
paragraph
language
4.
doesn't count.
The recitals don't matter as much as paragraph 4 does.
Fine.
I'll make a motion that we approve 10.11, the MOU between the city and the county of Riverside.
I will second that motion. And thank you, team, and thank you, county team, for getting us there. And we heard Supervisor Washington say this is a model that other cities will most likely follow suit. So, well done.
Thank you.
All right, council members, we're going to move on now to our first public. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, it's still tallying up. Had to carry the 4. All right, there we go. That passes unanimously, so thank you. All right, we're going faster than the computer, so that's pretty good. Our first, there are actually 3 public hearing items. Let's take the first one. This is 11.1. It's the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER, for our Community Development Block Grant Program for the fiscal year 22-23. And I see Ms. LeBron is here, so I will turn the floor over to you to present.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor. Thank you, and council members. Today I will be giving you a presentation on our 22-23 CAPER. The CAPER is prepared annually and it evaluates the city's process and performance in meeting the priority activities identified in the 5-year consolidated plan. For 22-23, this represents the first year of our consolidated plan. We received an allocation of $540,000. We spent $317,000, that's also including prior year funds, an additional $84,000 from our CV funds for a total of $403,822, which assisted 2,807 low mod residents. Our public services this past year was the Assistance League, Boys and Girls Club, Community Covered, Habitat for Humanity, Michelle's Place, Hospice of the Valley, and Safe Family Justice Center. We budgeted $81,000 for a total of $76,000 spent. And here are some pictures of some of the events that our nonprofit organizations did. The Assistance League had the Operation School Bell over at Kohl's. The Boys and Girls Club, the before and after school program. The cupboard had the food drive, and of course Habitat for Humanity, the Menifee Better Together. For the minor home repair program, we budgeted $167,000. We spent $98,000, including prior year funds. We assisted 7 homeowners, and as you can see on the before and after pictures, especially that roof, that was a really doozy roof to fix. Never seen one like that in over my 20 years experience of doing this. We also have a walk-in shower, and then the steps, we lower the riser so that the resident can get up and down the steps a little bit easier. For our CV stats, we had a starting balance of $264,000, and we spent $86,000. And as you may recall, back in May, we did a substantial amendment to any of the funds that were left from the rental mortgage assistance would be moved over to the homeless outreach team. And so staff is recommending to adopt the resolution to approve the consolidated annual performance and evaluation report and authorize staff to submit the CAPER to HUD. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. LeBron. Council members, this is an opportunity for questions first before we open the public hearing. So the first question comes from Mayor Pro Tem Carwin.
Thank you, Ms. LeBron. I just had a question about the minor home repair program. At this point, how many people do we have on that list?
So currently we have 75 people on the waiting list. That's of this this year, January of 2023. In August of this year, I sent out 16 applications, of which I've received some, and some of them have not responded due to the fact that they do not want to supply the information that's needed, or they're over income. But for 22-23, 52 applications were sent out, and of the 52, those are the 7 that qualified.
So how many of those projects are we able to get done a year?
So we roughly can do 10 a year, but as we all know, our economy has gone up. So we usually do 10,000. But when I go in, especially this roof situation, they had the roof, they had their mobile home that needed to be leveled, they needed skirting, they needed an HVAC. So of course, all of that's gonna go way more than the 10,000, and I do have the authority to go ahead and go over that amount. So it just depends on the type of service that we're gonna do for them. If it's just an HVAC, it might be 10 to 11,000, while others may be a little bit more, but roughly 10 jobs a year.
And is that being done by our staff, or is that contracted out?
We have contractors, sir.
So we're not limited by the amount of staff, the amount of personnel to get that done. It's just...
No, the only personnel that it would be me in regards to going out, reviewing the application, doing the environmentals, doing the scope of work, doing the inspections. That's all done by me, and then I send these out to the contractors, the certified contractors that we have, and they provide me bids. I have to have at least 3 bids in order to get the most reasonable one, of course.
Got it.
And then
Thank
go
you.
from there. You're welcome.
Any other questions, council members? All right, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. It is 7:56. Madam Clerk, was this legally noticed, and do we have any correspondence on the item?
Yes, it was legally noticed, and no, there are no correspondence or requests to speak.
Okay, no request to speak either. All right, very good. So I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, 7:56. Council members, any discussion or a motion to adopt the resolution that approves the CAPER?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Thank you, Edna.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Is there like a Windows update or something?
Okay, that should be in front of you.
And I see that passes unanimously. Our next public hearing item is 11.2. This is street vacation on the right-of-way on Craig, adjacent to Adler Ranch. Mr. Fiddler, I think you're going to share a quick little update for us. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Yes, thank you. Tonight, we do have a really quick presentation. The developer for Adler Ranch, which is located off of Craig and Antelope, has requested the city to vacate a portion of Craig Avenue to allow for the proper design and construction of sidewalk and a gated entry off of Craig onto the entrance of at Willowwood and for the Alder Ranch community development. Alder Ranch, formerly known as Christensen Ranch, consists of 303 single-family residential units within a proven recorded tract mapped 32628. The area proposed for vacation is a portion of public right-of-way located at the south side of Craig Avenue and Antelope. And here's an exhibit showing the location of those, of the requested right-of-way vacation. It is a very small sliver, as you can see on the right-hand detail. That's just to help facilitate the development of that gated entry. So staff has reviewed this and recommends approval.
That's it? Okay, very good. I hate to cut you off and have you go, wait, I got more. All right, thank you, Nick. So council members, do we have any questions? Hearing none, I'm going to open the public hearing, 7:59. Madam Clerk, any correspondence, and was it legally noticed?
It was legally noticed, no correspondence, and no request to speak.
All right, very good. I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:59. And council members, any more discussion, or do we want to approve the street vacation as recommended by staff? All
So
right.
moved.
All right, very good, and I'll second that. Sorry. All right, very good. I see that passed unanimously. We are now on our last public hearing item. This is 11.3, and it's the landowner election for the annexation number 22 Cimarron Ridge into the CFD 2017 for maintenance services. Council members, before we ask Mr. Spicer to give a full presentation, we don't need to do it unless we want to. So I'm going to ask you, do you wish to hear a report from him on this item or not? No? Okay, very good. So we will move on now, and I'll go ahead and open, and you're off the hook, Shane. It's 8 o'clock. I'll open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, was this legally noticed?
Yes, it was.
And do we have anybody that would like to speak on this item?
No, we do not.
All right, and do we have any written protests received?
No, we do not have any written protests.
All right, are there any persons registered to vote in the territory of the district?
No, there is not any. There are no registered voters in the area.
All right, and have the owners of the taxable property in the district consented to holding the special election this evening?
Yes, they have.
So, Madam Clerk, do you concur that the election can be held tonight?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. It is 8:01, and I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt the resolution calling an election to annex the territory. It includes track numbers 36658-1 through 36658-7 into the City of Menifee's Community Facilities District 2017 Maintenance Services. This is annexation number 2, and to levy a special tax on that land. Can I get a motion, please? Okay.
I'll second.
That's unanimous pass. Madam Clerk, have you received the official ballots and other election materials from the landowners that can cast their vote on behalf of the owners of the property included in the territory proposed to be annexed into CFD 2017-1 Maintenance Annexation 22?
Yes, I have. And the result is yes.
All right, thank you. So may I have a motion to adopt the resolution that declares those results?
So moved. Second?
All right, thank you, guys. That one passed unanimously. And so, Madam Clerk, would you please introduce the ordinance and read the title?
An ordinance of the City of Menifee, California, amending ordinance number 2017-231 and levying special taxes to be collected during fiscal year 2023-2024 to pay the annual costs of the maintenance and servicing of streetlights, parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, the operation and maintenance of storm drainage systems, a reserve fund for capital replacement and administrative expenses with respect to City of Menifee Community Facilities District number 2017-1 Maintenance Services, Annexation number 22.
Very good. All right, and finally, council members, I'll need a motion to introduce an ordinance amending ordinance number 2017-231 and levying and apportioning special tax to be collected during fiscal year 23-24 to pay the annual cost of the maintenance in CFD 2017-1 maintenance services.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. And that passed unanimously. We are at the finish line on that agenda item, and let's move now to our first there's really only one discussion item. It's 12.1, Community Development Department Fiscal Year 22-23 Annual Report. And just so everybody knows, this is a receive and file item. And our Community Development Director, Ms. Kitzrow, is at the podium, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to present our fiscal year 22-23 annual report. This is our second year putting this report together. Our first year presenting it here to the council. We've presented this report in the past to our planning commission. At the end of the fiscal year, we put this report together as an opportunity to look at our accomplishments, monitor trends in the development activity that's occurring, and giving us an opportunity to look forward to the future in setting our goals. This is an opportunity for us really to celebrate the hard work of the department. I'm excited for that opportunity. I know I've got a couple of team members here with me tonight that are going to be part of the presentation. I also want to recognize the entire community development team for all their hard work. Everything that they've done each and every day over the last fiscal year is represented in one way or another in this report and the metrics that we'll share with you tonight. I have our building official, Craig Carlson, here with me. I have our Deputy Director, Orlando Hernandez, and then you'll be hearing the presentation tonight from our two management analysts, Molly Banal in the Planning Division and Laura Sportelli from the Building and Safety Division. So without further ado, I'll have Molly come up and start us off.
Welcome, Ms. Banal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. It's an honor to be here tonight to present this to you and really showcase all the efforts that our department has put forward throughout the year. So a quick overview of our general department responsibilities. We do implement the goals and land use policies of our general plan to ensure that the new developments that we receive are balanced, well-designed, and consistent with our development code. We make sure that our construction follows all of our state and local laws. We do lead the plan review and permitting process, and we also establish our assistance programs for our residents with the use of our federal funding. Our department is broken out into 4 main areas. In our first column, you'll see the bulk of our services that are provided by our building division staff, plan review, permit issuance, inspections, all the way down to occupancy issuance. Our second column is our services provided by our current and long-range planning staff, with focus on project entitlement processing and maintaining the goals of the general plan, as well as developing and updating our zoning ordinances and development code, assisting with regional projects, and oversight of the CEQA studies and related document preparation. The third column is our CDBG focus on federally funded assistance programs from HUD, with the primary focus of implementing the consolidated plan and housing programs with significant community engagement on all fronts. And our fourth column is our department administration, which focuses on our budgeting and staffing needs, legislation monitoring, and contract management. Our department is split into 2 divisions, our planning division as well as our building and safety division. Our planning division is happy to boast 4 AICP certified planners with additional interest from other staff members to receive the certification, so we are expecting that number to increase in the coming years. On our building side, we have 5 ICC certified inspectors and 2 ICC certified plans examiners. Our total department hosts 31 staff members who work diligently to ensure the balanced and well-designed commercial and residential developments. We also realized a very healthy revenues over this last year, even with conservative projections, with planning receiving 162% of their projected revenue numbers and building receiving 120%. And this is a testament to the amount of projects that are continuously being submitted to the city. Some of the planning accomplishments include approving 161 projects last year, including 17 accessory dwelling units. And of that 17, 4 of those dwelling units were utilizing our new permit-ready ADU plans. So we are very excited to see that residents are starting to utilize that effort that we put together. And of course, due to local state housing mandates and the availability of our permit-ready ADU plans, we do expect to see that ADU number of applications increase in the coming years as well. We also approved 5 tentative track maps for a total of 408 new single-family unit residential units and 240 apartment units, which is adding to our approved housing stock to bring the totals to 4,622 new single-family residence units and almost 1,300 multifamily units. Our department also instituted the Battery Energy Storage Ordinance, which establishes new regulations related to the installation of utility-scale energy storage facilities, the Industrial Good Neighbor Policy to protect sensitive receptors from industrial development, and the Mobile Home Park Rent Stabilization Ordinance to secure annual space rent increases to no more than 5%, all of which were adopted by the City Council. Our pre-applications give us insight to developer interest and also help staff anticipate upcoming projects. So last year we received 22 applications. We currently have 25 major projects in entitlement review with a very heavy effect on our industrial development. And as you can see, that number is over 12 million square feet is currently in process. We anticipated this through our pre-application process over the last several years, seeing that industrial interest coming, and now all of those projects have been officially submitted and are in review. We also have 2 hotels, which will provide over 200 rooms, as well as 18 new housing subdivisions. And while this report focuses on city projects, there is also a significant component in collaboration and review of projects with our neighboring cities and the County of Riverside. A few other metrics for the planning division. We assisted over 3,000 customers at our counter last year and in virtual appointments. And approximately 80 to 85% of this number of customers that we assist are our homeowners that come into the counter inquiring about DIY projects such as pools, patios, re-roofs, small things they want to do to improve their homes or provide additional construction on private property. We saw a 19% reduction in calls due to our response time. Staff continues to work very diligently to try and return phone calls within 24 hours to minimize the duplication of calls to the city. We received 235 new application submittals. This includes all types of projects from pre-applications all the way to post-entitlement work as well. We currently have 232 projects in review. Our staff conducted over 700 inspections, and we executed 25 CEQA contracts for a total of $3.45 million value. Our Community Development Block Grant is responsible for implementing the grant programs that assist our residents. The city receives those annual allocations of funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, based on the city's total population, people in poverty, and overcrowded units. Subrecipient applications are then reviewed by the Menifee Citizens Advisory Committee, who provide recommendation to the City Council for fund distribution, and council votes on those recommendations. This year, subrecipients include organizations such as the Boys and Girls Club and the Assistance League of Temecula Valley. CDBG staff also completed the 5-year consolidated plan and annual action plan, which were adopted by council. They also launched the Single Family Minor Home Repair Grant Program, which is funded by the American Rescue Plan allocation we received. This is for income qualified non-seniors, and we have approved 8 residents in this program so far. We also launched the First Time Home Buyer Assistance Program, which is funded with the Permanent Local Housing Allocation from HUD. And this allocation is specific to providing local governments for housing-related activities and programs. In June, the council increased this funding amount to $100,000 per income qualified resident. So we are excited to see this money go to help citizens move into their first homes. Our CDBG also oversees the Minor Home Rehab Grant Program for our income qualified seniors, and we were able to assist 7 residents last year and participated in 37 Habitat for Humanity projects. Some of the activity of our other subrecipients of CDBG funds last year, specifically our homeless outreach with the assistance from Riverside University Health Systems, was able to assist over 100 people.
Welcome, Ms. Sportelli.
Thank you. Good evening. The building division continues to manage high levels of activity, and with over 6,000 permits issued, fiscal year 22-23 was no exception. This graph shows a 10-year trend of relatively consistent increases in the total number of permits issued per year, with slight fluctuations around 2021. The increase in miscellaneous permits coincide with a slight decrease in new single-family permits, which make up 14% of the total permits issued. For residential permits issued, we're continuing to see a lot of solar activity, which is up 17% from fiscal year 21-22. As previously mentioned, new single-family residences make up 14%, and electrical permits came in at 9%. HVAC and mechanical make up 6% combined. On the commercial side, electrical permits totaled 42%, and alterations, including tenant improvements and additions, make up a combined 43%. Here we've highlighted our building division's fiscal year 22-23 accomplishments. Total project valuation had a negligible drop of 3%, which can be attributed to common workflow fluctuations in the project cycle. Although we saw a 26% drop in SFR project valuation, new commercial valuation increased over 700% due to projects like Ziders Industrial, as well as an influx of other commercial projects, including restaurants such as Black Bear Diner, Popeyes, and Chick-fil-A. Virtual appointments have decreased as more of our customers are coming into City Hall. And more of our customers, I apologize, our inspectors conducted over 28%, or 28,000 inspections. And our permit center took in over 5,900 phone calls, which is a 67% decrease, but it's likely due to increased automation through Acela and ACA, with more of our customers utilizing our online portal.
And I'm going to wrap up our report here with our awards that we received last year. We're happy to announce that our Permit Ready ADU Plans and Handbook won the Excellence Award for Best Practice by the Inland Empire Division of the American Planning Association. And our Workforce Development Center, which is funded with local CDBG and HUD funds and organized with our economic development team, won an Award of Excellence from CalEd. Our department strives to meet the needs of our residents, businesses, visitors, and developers alike to ensure that together we are following our department mission statement of creating a healthy, vibrant, and connected community for everyone. And that concludes our report, and we are available for any questions the council may have.
All right, thank you, and we appreciate you guys giving us a nice brief on how busy you've been, and it's obvious that you have been, so thank you for that. Council members, do we have any questions of our team? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak from the public on this?
No, we do not.
And do we receive any correspondence on the item?
No, we did not.
Thank you, council members. Do we have any other discussion? This is a receive and file item, so we don't need to do a motion or anything, but yeah.
I just want to make a comment that as I read through this, it's nice to see the year summarized. So I just want to say thank you to Cheryl, the director, and to all you staff members for the work that you do, moving the projects forward in our city in a timely manner and helping your customers, which are our residents and business owners. So just thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
All right, excellent. We're going to move on our agenda now. Mr. City Attorney, do you have anything to report?
I don't, Mayor.
All right, Mr. City Manager, do you have anything to report for us?
Yes, I do. I just want to remind the council that our meeting, next city council meeting for September 20 will be canceled. And the reason for that is all of us are going to be attending the State Cal Cities Conference. This is an opportunity for all 482 cities to meet and talk about legislation and all things cities. So I know some of you are going to go, so we are going to be canceling that meeting, but we'll resume our regular scheduled meeting in October, first week in October. Thank you.
All right, very good. Council members, do we have any future agenda requests? All right, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and adjourn. It is 8:21. I want to thank everybody for being with us this evening. Have a great night.